Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bunnysays. Welcome back to an episode of Sherlock Holmes Awakened, the Remastered Edition. And we're trying to figure out the solution to the code written by young Davy. I'll be honest, I'll just come right out and say it. I'll come right out in a minute. Alright. I started trying to figure it out. And I was trying to input the number and stuff and everything and trying to figure out if it would. I saved it so that I could return to it when I'm recording, but in the meantime I had to figure out if I was getting the right number correct and everything, you know. I'm trying to figure out this code and I was trying to go through it and I just couldn't, I didn't know what I was doing wrong, even with the hints that I was getting before. And so I looked at the next hint and it said that there are red herrings. Some of the numbers are, some of the numbers can be ignored. Yeah. To that point, I just, after about 20 minutes, not including the time I sat there doing it in the last episode, it's been taking me about a half an hour now. That I just, start out today. I'm just gonna go right out and set it. I was like, whatever. I'm not sitting here. I'm not gonna sit here for a half an hour boiling indoors. Longer than a half an hour and try to figure this out. So I looked it up. I looked in the codes there. And this is the number. Alright, it's that simple. What is these? Okay, hold on. This better be right. One, three, four. Okay, now I had, because I thought the numbers, okay, I'm not even, you know what, I'm not even. Okay, there we go. Thank God. Oh, jeez. Okay. Why is there a 0 there? That's weird. Okay. It's hot, by the way. It's 90 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 32 degrees Celsius. And it's been, now a couple of days ago, it was only 50 degrees Fahrenheit, about 10 degrees Celsius. So in the last 2 days it went up 40 degrees. Yesterday was fine. Today it's 90, it's hot. It's sort of muggy. And the worst thing is that for some reason in the last couple of hours, now it's late. I mean, it's 8:30 now, and around there, and it's not cooling off, so it's gonna be hot tomorrow too. And in the last couple of hours, I don't know what's going on. I'm guessing it's the temperature change, so the sudden change, drastic change that I've been hearing ambulance after, not ambulance, fire engines after fire engine after fire engine going by. And I don't mean all at once. I don't mean within 5-10 minutes of each other. I mean every half an hour I've heard one for the past couple hours. They've been going non-stop. I don't know what's going on. And they're loud. So I've kept the windows closed. Because I didn't want the noise interfering while I was recording. So also I'm in a sort of a small room, and the computer's running. And the computers run hot and they heat up rooms. If you've been running a computer for a couple hours, it heats up a room. Computer's like 150 degrees or something like that. It's like having an oven on 150 or something, like having something on. So a closed room with the window closed, the computer running at 90 degrees. Yeah. So I wasn't about to sit here and try to figure this out for 2 hours. Honestly, even if it was cool, I still probably wouldn't have wanted to figure. Once I saw that there was a red herring, I was like, you know what? Forget it. And we're going to continue on. Thank you. It's funny, when I saw the thing that said red herring, I sit there and I started looking up the numbers. I was immediately reminded of I don't think I said this before, but I originally was going to call this channel Let's Cheat Our Asses Off. That was going to be the name of the channel. Let's Cheat Our Ass Off.
Indeed, they are open to but one possible meaning, even if it eludes me at present. As for my own enigma, I have failed to penetrate the secrets of this book. The language is archaic, and my own modest knowledge of ciphers is sorely tested. I have succeeded in drawing forth only insanities and other absurdities. According to this book, if my translation is exact, if one makes this mark with human blood, and then with conviction recites this illuminating verse, the victim is mesmerized or deemed to leave his mind. I tell you, Watson, this reads like complete gibberish. I do not know what to make of it.
How did you say it? What? These drawings, what a horror. I tell you, Holmes, this book gives me great unease, as does almost everything to do with this affair.
I just recalled, Watson. Didn't Barnes, the bookseller, tell us he had studied ancient history? Perhaps he might help us with the translation of this book. We must seek out better minds, for we are at a standstill. I have not the slightest idea where they could have taken these people and what consequences await them. Let's take our leave and see if Barnes might be of assistance.
Okay. We were trying to read the accursed book that we got from the island in the swamp in New Orleans. We're back at 221 B. Baker Street. And this, well, okay, let's look at the text in this book. Alright. It's a bunch of crazy letters drawn in blood or something. Or, I don't know if these are even letters, they're symbols, some of them. And some kind of crazy star with a eyeball in it. And yeah, it's all drawn in blood. Okay. Cool. What else would it be drawn in? Crayon? No. Drawn in blood. The Harman book. Yes. So let's go talk to the bookseller, see if he knows anything about it. And yeah, we were trying to figure out that. I don't even remember why we were trying to figure out that number in the first place. What's this? Okay. Okay. Where's that little kid? Just says Killing Tempest. His sign. I thought he was selling newspapers. Okay, guess not. Let's go down the street here and go to the bookseller. Is this that lady? Okay, no. There it is. Barnes. Here we go.
Mr. Holmes, Dr. Watson, a real pleasure to see you. I say, where have you been? You've stayed away for some months now.
Indeed, we took a very long journey and barely made it back. However, we have more important matters to discuss. Didn't you say you have some knowledge of ancient people, their language, writings, and customs?
Indeed I did, Mr. Holmes. Why do you ask?
Well, we want to look at this book.
You are just the man we need. I ran across this esoteric text during our travels and wondered if... Is there something wrong, Barnes?
Mr. Holmes, wherever did you find this? This book, it is worthy of a museum.
If you could be so good as to translate some of these fragments for me, I would be in your debt. I am particularly interested in these pages here. They are in the poorest condition and therefore appear to be the most used.
With pleasure. I will get to work straight away and keep you informed of my progress.
I hope that doesn't spell the death knell of Barnes. As people come kill him, get the book back. Okay. Thing in here, buy or read, Barnes. Now the book is supposedly, I believe, a text on how to summon or do something regarding Cthulhu. At some point I will speak about that. Well, maybe I'll talk about it right now. Okay, where are we going? So we're going to go back to our house. Now very quickly, the Cthulhu mythos is, there was a writer, H.P. Lovecraft, Howard Phillips Lovecraft. Oh, there's the kid with the paper.
Strand! Get the Strand! 3 ships still missing at sea! All aboard feared lost! Get the Strand! Latest word on the missing ships!
Give me the latest edition. There's a good lad.
Thank you, mister.
Okay, well, okay, let's read this first. London, December 2nd, 1894. Newspaper, The Strand. Okay. Storm of the century. The colossal tempest, many are already calling the storm of the century, has taken hold of the Scottish and Irish coastlines. It has been raging for these last 2 weeks, and officials are alarmed by the signs that the storm is intensifying. Witnesses report that the winds are increasing and waves higher than 40 feet have been spotted. Wow. The storm is taking a terrible toll on shipping and the lives of seamen. 34 ships have been reported lost. Whoa. And even as this article goes to press, several hundred lives hang in the balance as seamen struggle against the raging elements. Sadly, the Royal Navy Rescue is presently forbidden to launch any search parties due to the dangerous conditions. Until the storm lifts, those lost at sea have only fortune and faith which may carry them home. Their one ray of hope is that the majority of lighthouses remain in operation. The roads leading to them are largely underwater, and their occupants, the guardians of our coast and a sailor's last friend, are manning their posts bravely, though they remain cut off from the world. Her Majesty the Queen held an emergency meeting with her ministers about the crisis along our coast, and it was learned that similar phenomena are occurring around the world. Oh, okay. An extraordinary quality of the tempest that is savaging our waters is that it appears to affect the weather around the world, creating similar storms elsewhere. Reports from continental Europe, the Americas, Africa, and Oceania all speak of the rapidly deteriorating sea conditions. Some scholars speculate that the force and direction of the currents around the coastline is amplifying the effect of these waves in the ambient seas. However, according to these same scholars, a worldwide effect of this magnitude would be the first of its kind. Okay, that's the end of that article. Apparently there's another one called French Police Sputter. Undoubtedly, the French police are always late. It is unbridled, and its unbridled chase of the mysterious burglar, A.L., whose exploits we have followed with great regularity. That's Arsène Lupin. The police have struck a significant obstacle, this being the victim's unbridled admiration for this canny thief. Okay. A rich and well-known eccentric heiress was recently robbed of a fortune in gems. Their value was estimated to be several hundred million francs. The regional authorities have placed her estate under close watch, as they quite rightly regarded it as a prime target for this notorious thief. Last night, a shadowy figure was observed scaling the wall, closing the grounds, and entering the residence. The policemen closed their trap neatly, with an entire brigade standing by as reinforcements. They charged the manor, throwing the house out into a panic and rushing the heiress's private rooms. She met them in a nightdress and perkily announced that the theft of her jewelry had just occurred. After several minutes, rather long ones, she explained that she showed the burglar an ancient secret passage in her room, through which he escaped and skillfully avoided the police. Why did she do that? The passage led to a nearby train station. The shocked civil servants took their leave without saying a word, rejecting a light meal prepared for them by the lady of the house. No doubt it will take more than a few croissants for this lady to persuade the assurance company to pay her the value of the stolen gems. Yes, I would agree. Anyway, that's that thing. Okay.
Watson, consider the news of all these missing ships. I have an idea, but it will be necessary to secure a chart for the Scotland coast and nearby seas. No point in asking Barnes. I have no desire to divert his attention from the translation.
True enough, Holmes. But where else would we find such a chart?
Yeah, where would we find such a chart? Okay, maybe this guy? Okay.
Look sharp, coachman. We must get to the warehouses near the Thames dockyards, and quickly.
Really? Okay. Okay, we're going to the wharf, I guess. I don't know. The smugglers? Okay.
It's elementary. It is a sea chart we seek. We must go to the harbour.
Yeah, okay. What the heck was that? We're at the, okay. Hello, we're at the bar. Oh, that old dude's gone. Okay.
Good day, sir.
Good morning to you, gentlemen. Would you care for a pint, or perhaps something finer?
Thank you, but at the moment I have need of information and will have to miss another glass of your fine ale. More's the pity. Would you happen to know where I could find charts of the local waters?
They are all kept at the harbour master's office, but I'm afraid only those with port business are allowed to enter. I trust you understand.
Precisely. What I need is a chart of the Scottish area, where all those ships have wrecked recently.
Indeed, such a sad tale. All those poor souls lost at sea. It seems as if the very devil is at work there. Hang on, a chart of the Scotland coastline, you said? It seems to me I have one in my room over there, behind the bar. Here's the key. Take it and have a look for yourself. If you find it, it's yours for the taking.
Okay, that was easy enough.
I need something.
Yes, you have the key. Okay. Key. Where's the maps? This must be it. Nope. Okay. Here it is.
I have what we need, Watson. Now, let's examine this map.
Let's. Oh, well, okay. Alright. Okay, well. Can I... Oh, is it these numbers? The numbers from... Okay. 5... 6 4 3 6. Okay, 6 4 3 6. And 6 1 3 4. So 6. Okay, I have no idea. Okay, anyway, what are we looking at here? Oh, okay, alright. Atlantic. I can't even tell where I'm looking at here. Why, can I zoom in and out, or what's going on?
Let us pause to consider the facts, Watson. No mystery can resist an agile mind.
Okay, let's go back to the map. Nope, how do I... Okay, let's look at those numbers. 6 4 3 6 and 6 1 3 4. Okay. Okay, 6 4. Maybe it's this. No. No. Okay, it has to be. Okay. Oh, okay. 5. It must be 5 6 5 6. Okay. 4 3 6. I imagine this must be here. Why is it? Why wouldn't it show a number?
Let us pause to consider the facts.
Yes. All right. And, okay, and 6134. Okay, alright, let's go way over here. Okay, 6, okay, 6, 1, 3, 4 would be about here. 5, 6, 4, 3, 6. 5, okay, 5. 6, okay. 6, 1, 3, 4 would be about here, I guess. Or, okay, well, okay, what about it? Am I supposed to click there? Or, okay, am I supposed to click on the thing? Or, okay. Okay, let's do this first. Then, let's do this instead. 5, 6, 4, 3, 6. Okay, 5, 6. Okay, that's not working right. Okay, yeah. Okay, maybe not. 5 maybe down here. Okay, it's okay. 5, 6. Okay. 5. Okay, 4, 5. Okay, 5, 5, 5, 6. 4, 3, 6. It'd be 5, 6, 4. Okay, and 6, 1, 8, 3, 4. It'd be somewhere over here, I guess. Enter an S. Okay, what about it?
Let us pause to consider the facts, Watson. No mystery.
Okay, okay, what about it? Am I supposed to... Okay, I'm going back to the clues again. There is one specific point of interest in the map that you will want to find. Yep. Yeah, Navy's code. Even that code could help you, yeah, see it. Yeah, 5, 6, 4, 3, 6. I have the markings along the edges of the map. They are longitude, latitude, and deviation. It's possible editing to translate these two numbers into degrees of latitude and longitude. Yes, 56, 61. Note which number might convert to which measurement. Using the vertical markings on the left side, you can easily find a longitude of 56 degrees, yes. You're looking just a little bit higher than that, yeah. 6 degrees. And to the left towards a 7, yeah. Okay, what about it? Okay, yeah. 56. I know, but okay, 50, yeah, and okay, it's 56 and 56, yeah, 56 and 6. What? Okay, a little bit. Oh, here we, okay, what is it? Mull. Okay, am I clicking here, or what's going on there? Okay, okay. 56.4 would be... Oh, it's up here, okay, yeah. Oh, wait, is it, oh, it's a 6.1, okay, oh, is it over here? 6.134 would be about here. And 56, 4, 3, 6, 4, 3 would be about here. Okay, what about it? Okay.
Let us pause to consider the facts, Watson.
what am I supposed to do when I find it? I'm find a latitude of 6 degrees, then go to the left of that, towards the 7. At the intersection of these two, you should see a point of the map that is right on the coastline. It's clickable. Click at the spot and find the name of the place. Go back to the bartender about this place. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, alright. Okay. Alright, let me look at that again. Latitude of 6 degrees. And go to the left of that towards the 7. Okay. Okay, a little bit higher than that, a little bit left of that. Okay. 56. Okay, they should have put the 50 goddamn 6 there. They shouldn't have just started it at 56. Okay, 56 4 and 6 1 3 4. Okay. 6 1 3 4. It's about here. I have to 56436 is about here. 6134 is about here. So, okay. Wait,
Let us pause to consider the facts, Watson. No.
Can I just go talk to the... Do I have to just go talk to the bartender now? Oh, okay. No, it's not. Okay. It's not letting me... Alright. Let's, 6436, 6134. Must be one of these places here, right? Okay. 134 would be over here. Okay. Oh, okay. 134 would actually be here. Okay, it'll be about here, I guess.
Watson, that's what those mysterious
tiny
figures
little
meant.
dot.
Longitude and latitude. They indicate a point along the Scottish coast called Ardnamurcombe. Let's bring back the key to the tavern keeper and see if he knows this place.
Really? That dot was a tiny, 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 tiny little dot. It was basically a period at the end of a sentence. And I was looking at the wrong doorway anyway. Okay.
Did you find everything to your liking?
Indeed, you are as good as your word. I found the charts just as you said. Does the name Ardnamurcombe mean anything to you?
Ah, yes. It's a lighthouse along that very coastline. Legend has it, the place was built over a pirate's hideaway. In fact, now that I think on it, that spot is right in the middle of the tempest that is taking down all those ships. Rather odd-looking building. They say the chap who built it, Stevenson I believe his name was, that he fancied up the entrance with foreign symbols, Egyptian obelisks and even a dog with wings. Strange fixings for a lighthouse, isn't it?
If it's in the middle of the tempest, then why wouldn't anybody... Okay. I won't even bother. Are we going back to? Home. Okay. Oh, I'm right back at my house, huh? Okay.
Mr. Holmes, that gent Barnes is looking for you. He says to come quick, most urgent news.
Oh, really? Okay. Barnes must be ready. Some information. Let's go see what it is. Look at that guy's hat. Take a look at him. Okay.
Mr. Holmes, I was able to translate the pages that you wanted. Come, I will show you. This book is quite ancient. It tells of a terrifying sect devoted to strange entities. The descriptions are vague, but we can presume the origin of this myth arises from the destructive Leviathan represented in the Bible, a creature said to sleep and dream in a strange city under the sea.
A nightmare sleeping within the sea.
To be exact, the pages you asked me to translate are in fact a prayer or invocation to this entity and the description of the ceremony associated with it. To be frank, what is described in this book would make one laugh, were it not for its reliance on such horribly obscene, morbid, and bloodthirsty language.
And this ceremony, what can you tell me about it?
Promise me you will not laugh. The book says that hundreds or thousands of years ago, during a particular alignment of the stars, a priest performed these rites, invoking the name of a destructive Leviathan. The priest intoned his name and called for his return to this earth so his followers could give him his due. The priest then asked a representative of each nation on the earth to recite the invocation and sacrifice themselves to the sea from atop a colossal natural rock tower surrounded by water. All this is quite absurd, isn't it?
Pray continue, Barnes.
As you like. It goes on to say that the ceremony must be held under the image of the messenger of the outside gods. Nothing more exact is said on these entities. However, from their description, their messenger would have a form rather close to the Egyptian Sphinx, except that his face is without feature and jet black in colour. So an idol in its likeness must be present during the ceremony. But can you imagine that? Some so-called priest and an international crowd atop a tower singing in unison before some faceless winged stone lion?
I can imagine it very well, Barnes. You say that these people are to throw themselves into the sea so that their god will have his due. But what is it about? What does this god seek?
That's the most preposterous part of this tale, and proves it to be pure myth and fancy. Even for the sake of argument, this ceremony could never have happened. In such ancient times, it would have been quite impossible to gather representatives from every nation on Earth and in one place.
I understand, Barnes. Humour me a bit more, and please answer my last question. What would this Leviathan want from us?
Indeed, we would owe this creature our world. According to this, complete the ceremony and the collective sacrifice, invoke the demon, and he will arise and swallow the earth. Yes, Holmes, they sought nothing less than the end of the world. What nonsense!
Thank you, Barnes. I must leave now. Goodbye. The newspaper dating before our departure. Watson, find it. There was some article about the current alignment of the stars. This may tell us precisely how much time we have left.
But Holmes, surely you can't believe...
The newspaper, Watson. Find that newspaper.
Okay. Scotland.
Look, Watson! The light is barely lit. This explains the shipwrecks and recent disappearances.
Holmes, if we do not find a place to land, and soon, I fear they will add our names to those poor souls lost in these seas.
December 1894. At the lighthouse. Oh. Did I just walk off the edge of that lighthouse?
Oh my God! Holmes! Look! The sea! It just swallowed him!
Lambs for the slaughter! Watson, we must stop this!
Yes, okay, we're at the lighthouse and oh. What is going on here? Okay. Apparently this, okay, I'm gonna stop here, but, before I do so, I will continue the Cthulhu story later. It has nothing to do with the Bible. I don't know what they're talking about. I think they just, made it up, for the sake of the story. Okay, we're going up to the lighthouse, I imagine, and we'll stop that here. I'll continue on with quickly with the Cthulhu what the Cthulhu mythos is in the next episode, but because it'll take too long for me to do it right now. Okay, actually, I'll try to do it real quick. Cthulhu is basically a creation of H.P. Lovecraft. It was supposed to be a god that comes from basically it's sort of like a being who came from now you aren't sure they either mix it as a sort of maybe like an alien being or sort of a godlike creature. It would be a enormous large creature that basically is asleep underneath the ocean now. It's from his story called The Call of Cthulhu, right? It's one of his most seminal works, and it's basically about a cult, a cult that was trying to raise Cthulhu, and the cult has been around for thousands of years, and Cthulhu is supposedly hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years, actually millions of years old. And the idea is that when the stars are right, when the stars align in the proper time, you can waken Cthulhu, who will basically rise and destroy the earth. They say he's asleep underneath in a certain place underneath the earth and all this, and presumably he's in another dimensional space where when everything's correct, when both the time and place and all this, he will awaken. So that's the extremely short version of it. I'll go into it more later, but that's all you need to know for right now. It's basically that's what all this stuff about that has to do with the water and the cult symbols. And now Cthulhu looks like sort of the statues that have been in this game is sort of a crazy sort of octopus looking. He's supposed to be hundreds of feet tall. He's giant, and if you get a chance, you look at that statues there. There's a pretty good statues of him. But there's so much more to go into with it, but that's a very quick generalization, and that's pretty much fairly all you need to know for this story, really. But anyway, for the purposes of the story, that's all you would need to know. So anyway, Bunnysays, and I'm going to end this here, and thank you for joining me. I'm guessing we're near the end of the story. I don't know, but because I guess we're going to just try to stop the ritual that's happening and stop Cthulhu from rising. So we'll do that next time now. And again, thank you for joining me, and I hope you'll join me again for what seems to be the beginning of the end of the story. So thank you for now, and goodbye.